Hello, my friends, Pre-Columbian gentlemen coming at you from the world-famous Santa Fe White Hawk Antique, Indian, and Ethnographic Art Show here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, 2024. This is the Saturday show. It's actually the official opening day. Last night we had the benefit and gala at 6 p.m. and it was like an early entrance, but today's the official day. It's been super busy. From what I understand, this is like one of the largest crowds they've had in years. It's been non-stop busy and just a really cool event. So happy to be here, you guys. And as I said, I'm making a video today on authenticating ancient art. I'm gonna go through all the steps with you guys, and then also tomorrow I'll be live streaming on my Instagram. So if you have Instagram, follow me, and then we'll you can watch it live basically. So let's begin. So first and foremost, when you are authenticating ancient Pre-Columbian art, the most important thing before you do any step, before any of the little things I'm gonna teach you today, is just knowledge. Okay, so you need to educate yourself on Pre-Columbian art. So many people just go right to the steps where you're trying to do the testing and all that stuff, but they don't have the actual knowledge, and the knowledge is power. That's where you're going to get the understanding of the styles and what to look for before you even get to the actual testing part. And so what you want to do is you want to find the best books out there that are on the subject matter. And so this is the best book on West Mexican Pre-Columbian art. It's from Townsend back in the 1980s, I believe, or 70s. It's 80s actually. But there's also another book in 1974 that Hasso von Winning did called the Tombstone Figures of, Tombstone Figures of West Mexico. And that's a great resource as well. On these books, you guys, what you see is a lot of pictures of the pieces. They talk about some of the cultures, because there are obviously several different cultures down in West Mexico. And with that, you gain the knowledge of what to look for in the pieces in terms of style, in terms of like the slips and what they're supposed to look like. So you have to remember, Pre-Columbian art, a lot of the pieces, they're made by either the same artist or done in the same schools, and so that's why they look very similar. So when you see pieces that look very different than the norm, those are the red flags, and those are where you need to really be careful with. So you want to see pieces that look similar to what you also see in the books. Okay. So besides the books, you guys, and sorry about that. With these books, the majority of them are out of print, so you do have to search from, for example, this has been out of print for about 20 years, but they are available on eBay, Amazon, and whatnot. So there's tons of books on the Maya, on the pieces, and then obviously West Mexican art. The next thing you want to do when you are gaining the knowledge to authenticate is you want to visit museums, okay? So the reason why you want to see museum art is because sometimes the pieces look different in the books. For example, they get edited out, Photoshop, and also the colors can be different because of the lighting in the books. So when you see pieces at the museums, then you can really gauge what they're supposed to look like, the color of the slips, and again, just more confirming the styles that you're looking for. So again, that's your knowledge, okay? So once you have all of that in place, that's when you can really get to the testing part. And so when you get to the testing, that's when you kind of confirm. But when you get to the level where I'm at, it's pretty, you can kind of see what the pieces are supposed to look like, and it becomes a lot easier. And just like anything, when you handle more pieces, you get better at it, okay? So the very first step that you want to do when authenticating Pre-Columbian art, and I have this piece right here. Sorry, it's a little bit loud in here. It's going to be the weight, okay? So when you're picking up Pre-Columbian pottery, this is ancient pottery. So this piece right here, it's a Klima dog, comes from Klima, Mexico, 100 BC to 250 AD. And this piece, it's a really large example. It's actually a lot lighter than it looks, okay? So that's gonna be your big clue. So if this piece is super heavy, most likely it's modern. And the reason being is that after 2,000 years, pretty much the majority of the moisture, if not all the moisture, is gone out of the clay, and so it actually lightens it. So if you have a heavier piece, that could be a red flag that it's not authentic, okay? So it should be lighter than it looks, okay? So that's the very first step. The next step you're gonna wanna do is, I call it the tapping test, okay? So these ancient pieces were low fired in ancient kilns 2,000 years ago. When you have modern pieces that you see that are reproductions and forgeries, they're fired in modern kilns, and so high fired, and the pitch of the sound of the ceramic is a lot different. So for example, I just have this little guy here. So hopefully you can hear that. You can hear it's got that high pitch to it because it's fired in the modern kiln. Now these ancient pieces, because they're fired in low fired in these ancient kilns, it's got a different sound, and it's just like a lower sound. So that's your clue that this is actually a real ancient piece. Okay, so that's the first step. The next step you're going to want to do, we call it the water test. And so these ceramics are 2,000 years old. So when you spray water on them, it will absorb quickly into the clay because that clay is just so old and dry. One thing you have to be careful though is with the water test is that a lot of these pieces have been waxed, and the wax is actually not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It protects the pieces and it makes them shine like they did back in the day. The majority of pieces you see in the marketplace will have wax on it, and it's easily removable, and it actually does wear it out over time. So if you spray a piece, for example, this has been waxed, so if you spray that with water, it's gonna bead a little bit, and it's not gonna absorb as well as it should. So that could be like a red flag, but it's just the wax. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you this little ocarina, and so I got the little spray bottle. You can use tap water, you can use distilled water. I like distilled. And so you just want to spray the piece. And so once you spray the piece, it'll start to absorb real quickly into the ceramic. And then you're gonna smell it. It's really unique, okay? Once you smell a real piece that's ancient with the water test, it's got this really strong odor, like hard to describe, but it's just basically like a really strong dirt or odor because it's been in the dirt for 2,000 years. And then also the water will absorb into the ceramic. So on modern pieces, the water will not absorb into the ceramic. And you have to remember a couple things with the West Mexican pieces that have been waxed, it will bead. So you have to be careful with that. So the water test, it's helpful, but not necessarily conclusive. One thing I do want to caution you on the water test is that you be careful with Maya ceramics. So for example, with the Maya cylinder bases, because they're so thin walled and the design of the cylinder, and because they've had dirt in them for so many years, if you spray water on them, there's a good chance that base could shatter. So I would recommend not doing the water test on Maya ceramics because they could break. They're very fragile, thin walled, and they've been known to shatter because of the water test. Now, the very final test that you're going to use for authenticated pre-Columbian art is the hydrogen peroxide test. And this has been one of my favorite tests. And honestly, this should be the very, very last test you should do because everything else should go before that. So now with these West Mexican pieces, West Mexican pieces, they have these manganese deposits. So I'm going to show this to you. So these are an organic matter, and they formed over thousands of years in burial on these pieces. And so you can actually test these. So fakers will paint these on, so you need to be able to spot the difference. On the real stuff, you can see it's got this natural bloom to it. And on the fake stuff, it's just more of a splatter, like a paint splatter, okay? So you can't test those. Those will not react to the hydrogen peroxide. Also, there are two kinds of deposits on this piece. So you have the manganese, and then you have this ring right here, and this ring is insect larvae. And that happens when it's in a tomb environment and it just seeps into the clay. And so, but you can actually test the manganese. And so we're gonna do that. So the very first thing when you're testing for the manganese is that you wanna pick an inconspicuous area. So I try not to pick a spot in the front, but I'll pick a spot near the back. And so we're gonna go ahead and test that right now. So I'm putting that right here, so you can see this. And then you take the peroxide, this 40%, and I don't even know who actually found this out to begin with, but so it's 40% hydrogen peroxide. I use the cream. You can use the liquid, but I think the cream reacts a little bit better. And you want to make sure that this is new. So if it's past 3 months old, it will not react. So you want to get fresh 40% hydrogen peroxide cream. You can find this at any beauty store. Shake it up just so you get a nice little mixture there. And then you use these Q-tips.
Looks like you're looking at my salad mess.
All right, hold on a second here. So just got a little bit right there. I'm gonna pick this up. And look at that. That just lights up right there. That's a strong reaction. And so that's telling you that these manganese deposits are authentic. Okay, there are some instances though where people will scrape the manganese off of this and mix it into a paint. Very rare, and it's only like the highest of forgers can do that. So be careful with that, but very, very unlikely. But this is a positive test. Look at that. It just lit up like a Christmas tree. So that's telling you that these manganese deposits are indeed ancient. They're 2,000 years old. So, and then with this, you just take a little thing, wipe it off, and you're good to go. It doesn't harm the piece or anything. And so we had all three of the tests were positive. It's the right style. It has the right clay, the right sound, and then obviously it tested positive for the manganese deposits. I mean, it's obviously a no-brainer piece. But I just want to use this as an example because it has great deposits, and this is just such a killer piece. One of the rarest dogs I've ever seen. The color's amazing, the deposits are amazing, and then it's got the shell inset eyes, and I've never seen that on a single Klima dog. I've only seen these on the shaman figures that have a similar color slip. So the fact that you see these on a dog, it's just super rare, but it's just such a fantastic piece. And then someone actually commented once about the ears. So the ears have these little loops in there, and so most likely during ancient times it had earrings or some kind of perishable material there as the earrings for the piece. So anyway, guys, like I said, really nothing's going to replace knowledge. So the key is going to be the books, learning what the styles are, what you want to look for, and then obviously going to museums, and again just reinforcing that, and so you know the style to look for, the colors of the pieces, and just the norms. Because remember, the majority of these pieces are all done in the same style. They should look similar. Okay, they didn't really get out of the norms too much. So when you see something that's out of the norm, that should be a red flag. Not saying that it's not ancient, because there are one-offs, for example, like this shell inset dog. But once you've seen that the majority of the pieces there are painted or actually made by the same schools under apprenticeships of similar artists, and also obviously the cultures dictate the style that you want to look for. Okay, so that's the big one. I'm sorry, as far as knowledge, and after the knowledge, you want to look for the testing, the water test, the tapping test. The weight should be a lot lighter than it looks, and then the last, the very least piece of the authentication should be the testing for the manganese deposits. And now with the manganese deposits, that's primarily a West Mexican thing. So you'll find those on Colima pieces, Jalisco, Nayarit, Michoacan, some of those areas. You will sometimes find manganese deposits on Maya pieces, and so that's an interesting thing too, because when you find manganese deposits on a piece, it means that there's a burial involved. And so obviously a lot of these ceramics that were done by the Maya were put into rich, elaborate burials, and then those will produce manganese deposits on those, and those also can be tested using the peroxide that we showed you today. So anyway, guys, I hope that helps. If you have any questions about this, please reach out via DM, and we'll answer them for you. But that takes you all the way through from A to Z, how to authenticate pre-Columbian art. And then this will be going on my TikTok and also my YouTube channel. Tomorrow at noon, for here in Santa Fe at the White Hawk Show, I'm going to be doing a live stream on my Instagram, doing the same exact tutorial, showing you guys exactly how to authenticate ancient art. Once again, you guys hit the like and follow button for some more great pre-Columbian content. And thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate this. I couldn't do this without you. And as a small Hispanic business owner, you guys mean the world to me. So cheers, you guys. Have a great day, and thanks for watching this video. And happy collecting.